Mogul life. Mogul life. Had to come out of the struggle. Now I be dodging the trouble. I don't be making it rain, though I came up from the puddle. I be investing in things, making my little money double.
Peace, kings and queens. You are now tuned in with the young mogul, Ramel Newworlds, 26-year-old business professional, entrepreneur, aspiring mogul, and credit expert. Over the last 4 years, I've worked for $1 billion corporation, and I've been able to leverage the experience and knowledge in order to build 3 businesses that I run and manage today, grossing over 6 figures. And I love sharing this story because this is a lot of us. We're at our day job and we're struggling to get to that entrepreneurship level, and we really don't know how to make that transition. But I'm here to tell you today that I've been able to master it up until this point to help grow my business and my development. I'll give you a little bit of background about myself. 4 years ago actually, I graduated from the University of Albany with my bachelor's in business management, and I was hired on as a sales rep for this $1 billion corporation, Fortune 500 company. For the first year, I was just selling in and out, being a sales rep, understanding the art of selling. How do you sell? How to overcome objections? How to really be successful with details. These are the things that really help propel me as a salesman, because as an entrepreneur, you're in the business of sales and marketing. Eventually, I was promoted to a delivery supervisor where I was managing a team of 12 to 15 drivers. So I overseen operations and knew how to lead a team on something I did not like at all. But it helped build my capabilities. And ultimately, I was promoted again to a sales district manager where I managed an entire district and a team of 6 individuals, sales, revenue, volume, you name it, this is what I do. And I'm a firm believer in being an employee first before you can ever become somebody's boss. See, a lot of times we get caught up in, I want to be the boss, you feel me? I want to be the top dog, I want to call the shots. But you got to crawl before you walk. If everybody's a boss, then who's really working? You got to really put in your work from the ground up. And that's what I did. And I'm still putting in that work. But it's helped me, and I love to share this information. So I broke it down into 5 simple steps on how you can become an entrepreneur from your day job and leveraging it the right way. The first one is to change our mindset to work for resources, not money. A lot of times we get hung up on what a job is paying us. Oh, they're not paying me enough. They're not paying me what I want or what I'm worth. You're never going to be paid what you're worth by somebody else. The only way you're ever going to be paid by your worth is if you create your own income and become a true entrepreneur. So do not get hung up on the money. I remember at 16 years old, I worked for Burger King as a cashier. It was my first job. And I smelled like grease. I smelled like the frying pan every time I went home, and everybody would joke on me. But I knew where I wanted to go. I would shadow my manager at the time. I learned sales again, right? I learned how to work with money. I learned customer service. I learned operations and how there's so many different components to running a business. At 16 years old, I didn't care about the fact that I worked for Burger King. What I cared about was the fact that I'm gonna learn the business. And that's what I knew it was gonna take me far. The knowledge, the information that no one can ever take from me. So I looked at the resources instead of the money. Let's not get hung up on money, because money can go in a heartbeat. But information, education, knowledge, the skill, the resources is something that no one can ever take away from you. Now, luckily, in my career, I'm a part of a program called the Emerging Leaders Program, where a lot of companies may do this. They take a selected group of individuals and they put them in these professional trainings. They pay for you to go travel away on these educational summits, and they teach you how to build yourself as an entrepreneur, as a professional. They teach you the art of networking, how to effectively manage a team, how to put together a power statement, how to put together a pitch, how to manage revenue reports, how to manage a facility. So many things. These are resources that No one can ever take away from me that I learned. And it wasn't about the money. That's something that's so valuable, the intangibles. So when you're at your job, you want to make sure that you take out the time to ask your boss, hey, can I spend some time with you in the office? Or, hey, can I just shadow you for a few days and learn what they do? Don't be the guy who goes to clock in, sits and upset, and then clock out and go home. But you didn't ask no questions. You didn't stay no extra time to learn exactly what it is and why they're at a higher level than you. Ultimately, you're running a business, but in your own right, but for someone else. So let's just program our minds to understand that we need to work for resources and not money. Number 2, learn the systems. Big corporations are billion-dollar, million-dollar, trillion-dollar companies because they have systems in place to where you and I, or the average person, don't have ever met the CEO, but it's a billion-dollar company that's running because they have systems in place. So for myself, I started to learn the systems. I learned how to effectively market myself. I learned that nothing is done by accident. Everything is strategic with these companies, from the design of the logo to the demographic. So I said, hey, I'm going to start applying that same concept to my brand and my business and be intentional about how I market myself to the world and what colors do I wear or the way I dress. See, right now I'm having this conversation with you guys, and I'm dressed in a nice sweater, casual, dressed down. I'm not dressed up in a suit and tie. It's because I didn't want to make you, the audience, feel like, hey, I'm uppity. No, I'm just like you guys, but there's always a time and a place for business. You have to be intentional about that. I'm intentional about you understanding my brand. These are the systems that they put in place. Every business has to have a slogan. A company slogan that sets the tone for the employees, for the overall direction of the company for that year. And that's what I started to do for my business. Hey, team, this year, our goal is to reach our potential. So everyone around me is going to try to reach their highest potential. And if you're not, then you're not meeting the expectation. You're not uncomfortable. These are the systems that we need to take notes from at our day job and start to invest in ourselves and our business. And when you're learning the systems, it helps to build you as an individual, okay? Number 3, build a network. This is key because don't matter if you leave a company or you stay with a company, you want to build relationships that's going to last forever. You want to be the person that goes and stop and say hi and talk about your family. You want to be somebody that's likable, sociable. If you're the employee that's at your job and you got the mean mug on and you don't say hi to anybody, you're not going to go far. You have to be the person that's going to go out and smile and make other people feel happy, lead other people. Ultimately, in business, it's not about really what you do. It's how you make people feel. That's what's going to separate the true leaders from managers. I never like to call myself a manager. I call myself a leader because I lead people so that we can get to a higher common goal. And that's because I take pride in building a network of individuals that can attest to my character. So I can have recommendations, I can get support. I can call someone in another location and be able to get support on anything that I need, whether it's inside work, in my career, or in my business, whatever it may be. And in this network, you want to make sure that you grab from everyone and pour it into yourself and take different traits and start to build up who you are as an individual, as a brand, right? That's what I began to do as I started to maneuver my way through the corporate structure. I started to take little tips and tricks from mentors to learn how to maneuver and conduct myself as a business professional, which ultimately led me to the point where I built influence. I built influence around my immediate network, friends and family, my coworkers. And once I built that influence, I was able to start to put together a team to run my business. So I started to, put the systems in place because I built a network and I built my influence, okay? Now, once we have that, we got to put the work in now. The work is through overtime. Not the typical overtime where you work your 9 to 5 and then you get time and a half for staying extra hours and then you come home and you go to sleep. No. When I say overtime, it means you work your 9 to 5 and when you get home, you work from 6 a.m. to 2 a.m. 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. You need to understand that the job is never done because you now have a business to attend to. You cannot give your job 8 hours, but yourself 1 hour, or your business a half hour. You have to put in that overtime. From everything that you learn, put in the overtime into yourself, your business, and your brand. I cannot express this enough. Now, the biggest thing that I want you guys to really, understand is compound interest. Compound interest is making interest on top of interest. You double your time. And you're able to do this by having a job and a business at the same time. A lot of us, when we work at a job and we start to, create our own business, we want to quit very soon. We want to quit. No, do not be too quick to quit your job. You want to stay there until your business is at the point where it's just really replacing your income. But even at that point, you want to still think about keeping your job, because if you have a business that's running and it's making $50,000 a year, and you're also making $50,000 a year from your job, you now make $100,000, right? You can live off of your job money and use your business money to reinvest. So you're gonna essentially make interest on interest on interest, because that money is not being touched. You're living off your job income and you're investing your business income. But if you quit your day job and you now are full-fledged into your business, you are now living off of your business, which takes away from the funding or the growth financially from your business. So stay here and understand the long-term goal. And the reason why I love real estate is because real estate is a vehicle we can utilize to create passive income and compound interest while having a day job. You can set a plan for yourself to say, hey, my goal is to acquire 3 properties a year. And as long as I'm doing that, I can continue to have my day job and I can make, an extra $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month and continue to reinvest that to make $15,000, to make $30,000, to make $45,000, to make $90,000. That is what you want to get to. And it's only done through understanding that there's a long-term goal. This is not a quick microwave success route. This is 5, 10-year plan. Where do I want to be? How do I see myself? Am I willing to go through the corporate structure and work and invest in my business at the same time and create compound interest for myself? This right here is the formula into how I was able to build my businesses to grow over 6 figures. By leveraging my resources, by learning the systems, building my network, influencing others to get a team and putting in the work. And now I have properties that bring me income. I have a business that brings me income. I have a career that brings me income. It's a win-win. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, kings and queens. Here's my 5 tips on how to leverage your day job to become an entrepreneur. If you have any questions, concerns, please feel free to reach out to me, but I would like for you to comment below, like, share this to another individual, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Instagram, Mogul Lifestyle. Peace.
Mogul life. Mogul life. Yeah, Mogul life.